Hello besties, welcome back to Bookmas. Welcome to today's reading vlog for Bookmas. So I wanted to do something a little bit fun, have something choose my reads, because that's been a big theme this year. I've done a lot of videos of different things choosing the books that I read. One, because I'm indecisive, and two, I wanted to try some fun things to get some books off of my physical TBR. So for today's video, we're gonna have my trusty reading journal choose the books that I read. If you guys have been keeping along with my reading journal journey this year, I've done a video every single month so far this year doing book stuff, but within all of those videos, I have been keeping up with my reading journal. And within here, I have so many different things that could choose the books that we read. I have 24 books I want to read in 2024. I have a reading challenge. I have an A through Z challenge. I just have a few things in here that could help me get some books off my physical TBR. So we're going to go through those and we're going to choose some books through that to read for this video. I think this is the perfect way to round out the year since we've been doing this every single month so far this year. Why not end our last month of the year together with this reading journal? So I've been neglecting my 24 books to read in 2024, but today we're going to be reading a book from that. So the ones that I have left on my list over here is These Violent Delights, City of Bones, Sorcery of Thorns, King of Wrath, Dance of Thieves, Scythe, Billy Summers, Happily Never After, Cinder, and The Rom-Commers. The only rule I have for myself is I'm not starting any new series. I just recently started 3 before the year even ended, and I'm trying to complete more series, so that kind of knocks a few off of this list. So the ones that we have left from that are Billy Summers, The Rom-Commers, and Happily Never After. So I'm gonna go choose which one I'm gonna start. I actually have no idea which one I'm in the mood for right now. It's either I'm gonna be in the mood for a rom-com or my first Stephen King book, which would be crazy. Hello guys, it is now the next day. I started this later last night and then I read I think like 2 chapters this morning, so I'm ready to sit here and read a bit more. I chose Happily Never After, like you guys saw, by Lynn Painter. It was honestly between this one and Billy Summers, but I didn't choose Billy Summers because this one I've been putting off since I got it, since it came out, and I stared it on my book cart and I don't know why I never pick it up. This is an adult romance by Lynn Painter and she's well known for her young adult romances like Better Than the Movies, Nothing Like the Movies, and Betting on You, and those ones. I personally don't really love YA romances, so those aren't like my favorite books by her. I actually read The Love Wager by her, I think last year or the year before, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. She's an author that has great books for like a palate cleanser, just a really fast-paced rom-com vibes. Like she's really good at that. So I chose this one because the book I read before this was another like contemporary romance fast-paced book and I wanted the same vibe, and also because this has been on my TBR cart for a while. This is about Sophie who's getting married and her best friend hires an objector who comes to the wedding, and their job is to stand up when they say, does anyone object? And they say, I do. That happens in the first chapter. Someone named Max comes and he's the objector, and then when he goes to get his money and collect his money afterwards, he finds Sophie and her best friend drunk after in the hotel room, and he ends up just like spending the night there very casually talking with Sophie. And then it fast forwards 5 months later and he kind of comes back into the picture and it's like, do you want to be the objectress? Do you want to join me on this journey? That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's a very fun, lighthearted plot, but also an interesting plot because they're breaking up marriages where people are cheating on each other, where spouses are just like do not want to go through with the wedding. So it's interesting having like the negative connotation with romance because Sophie is one of those characters who just like does not believe in love. She's like completely sworn it off. So that's an interesting take in a rom-com and like a romance. So I'm excited to see like how maybe her opinion and thoughts change on that as this goes on. But so far I feel like Sophie and Max don't really have a huge connection. I think they're more like, right now at least, I'm about 70 pages in and it's kind of more of like a platonic situation going on. They definitely think each other's attractive. It's dual point of view. I don't think there's any like huge chemistry happening, so I'm interested to see like when that kind of switches a bit. It definitely is fast paced. It's definitely like giving rom-com vibes where like I can picture it as like a rom-com movie, and I always feel like that with Lynn Painter books. Like I can picture it on the screen like as a movie, so I really like reading her novels because of the way she's able to paint a really clear picture. But I wouldn't say they have like banter or anything like that. They've just had like conversations and they're going through this journey together, objecting people's weddings. I love a good wedding in a book, so I'm excited about that being like the setting and the primary setting of this book. I think I can just like sit and binge it, and that's like exactly what I wanted, so that's a good thing. I will say though, like I said, they don't have like a connection, like a romantic connection, but I do love a kind of like a slow burn where they become friends at first and they have like a platonic meeting, and it's not like an instant love attraction. So I think it's gonna be good if this does end up being a bit of a slow burn into the romance and into the attraction, because well, no, not into the attraction, I guess just into the romance, because they have an attraction to each other, but they just like met a few months ago. They're just like going along with it. They don't really know enough about each other. So I think when they do start getting to know each other and then maybe the ball starts rolling, I'm gonna like that. So weird. I'm listening to a playlist. I just searched the book. That's usually what I do. I'll search it on Spotify. So I found a little playlist and I got to a part in the book where they're like grocery shopping, but they're playing 20 questions. And I looked down at the song because I haven't heard the song before, and it's called 20 Questions. And I was like, that's really suspicious. It's always like stuff like that. I'll be listening to a song while reading and I'll either say a lyric of like a word I'm reading or something like that. Or it happened when I was reading Pumpkin Spice Cafe and watching Gilmore Girls. Like they said something on the TV and then it said it in the book, and I was like, this is so weird. But sometimes I take it as a sign that I'm in the right place at the right time. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, is reading this book. And this, like, it's just a chance happening. I thought that was funny, so I had to share. Okay, I have not moved. Well, that's a lie. I moved from that chair over to the floor over here, but I haven't left this room since we last talked when I was on page like 70. I'm now on page 190. I have not been able to put this down. I am just very much entertained and immersed in the story. I'm just so interested in what they're gonna do about their situation right now, because I think we lost the plot a little bit just in general, but also with them kind of like breaking up weddings and stuff. It happened a couple more times, but it was kind of like brushed to the side. We're not really just focusing on our two characters, which I really like, because I feel like sometimes in romance novels you get our two characters in obviously a lot of scenes together, but then you also get a lot of separate ones, and I feel like when they're separated it takes it out of the romance and takes it out of like them spending a lot of time together, and it's more them kind of like overthinking a lot. Whereas in this one they spend so much time together. Like quality time is like top of the list for them. But that kind of brings me to their relationship. Like it definitely has picked up. Like I said, they didn't really have much chemistry in the beginning, but as it went on, as they spent more time together, their physical chemistry and physical tension, like the physical lustness, I guess, of the whole thing has really picked up. Like I can definitely feel that tension. And usually in books I don't really love when it's more of a physical connection over an emotional one, but for them it makes more sense because they both have swore off, or he swore off relationships, she has sworn off love just in general. So it's like they don't want to connect really on a very big emotional level to like try to get into a relationship. Like that's not their end goal. So it makes sense that they're more of a physical relationship along with like their friendship that they have right now. So I'm not opposed to that being how their relationship has grown, because obviously they have the physical connection and chemistry. Like it definitely is there. So it just makes sense that that's how their relationship is going. I will say it's not my favorite type of romance to read. I love more of an emotional connection. I can really connect to the characters on that. But for these two, it's just entertaining to see them go along with this and try to fight the feelings now, because obviously as you get more intertwined with each other and tangled up in physical connections and spending so much time together, obviously feelings are gonna come from that. So I'm interested to see with like how this ends, how they're gonna come out of that, because obviously feelings are developing, but they're both like, this is just not right. Obviously this is not what we want at the end of it, so let's just like cut back. And I'm over here like, you're wrong. You both are wrong, because I see it, and I know you guys don't see it, but I see it. When I'm reading it, I picture Kristen Bell, and I forgot his name, I think Adam Brody from that one Netflix show that just came out. I recently watched it with Chris, and I can't stop picturing this book as that show. Like I just like vividly picture it going down and like being like recorded kind of like that Netflix show. So anyway, it's entertaining. I literally can't put it down. There's a lot of dialogue, which I love so much. I think this book is only like 270 pages, which is crazy. We have about 80 pages left. I'm gonna sit right here and binge the rest of it, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Okay, I finished absolutely binging Happily Never After. I just sat on TikTok for a little bit, and you know a book has me hooked. Not that this is like my favorite book ever, but you know a book had me hooked, and I was binging it when I don't touch my phone. Like I did not touch my phone, to randomly check a social media app, or just check random things, or just to go on my phone and take a little bit of a break. The whole time I was reading this, I took like 2 breaks to eat something, and that was really it. Her writing just like sucks me in every single time. Like every time I read one of her books, I can just sit and binge and just sit there for the few hours until I'm done. I don't know what it is about them. It's so incredible. Like her writing is so fast paced, and this one was like insanely fast paced. Like we were just like in it. As soon as it started, we were in the first wedding and the first objection, and it just like completely went on from there. I did say earlier that it lost a bit of like the main plot, which I still think that it kind of did, but I was like having fun going along with them and seeing like where their relationship was gonna go, because again, it was more of a physical relationship. Even towards the end, like when they kind of figured their stuff out, it was still a physical relationship, so not my favorite. I also didn't feel like their banter was like that good. Like they ended up understanding each other, they were comfortable with each other, but probably not one of my favorite romances or like my favorite couples. But again, I was in it, I was entertained, and that's really all I wanted from this, and it gave what I thought it was gonna give. So I don't really know I'm gonna rate it. I just finished it, so I think I need to sit on it a little bit, but I'm between like a 3.5. Like that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. But I'm really happy I ended up reading this one because it was just fun to sit and not think about anything, just be really immersed in the story. And there were some really good parts between the two of them where I was like, oh, they're cute, but it was a fun time. So going into my handy dandy reading journal, the next prompt we're going to use to choose the next read is the reading challenge that I made. I have this page with a bunch of different prompts, kind of like the TBR drop prompts, where it says published this year, or one word title, or new author to you, and I would just like write down a book that was kind of like with that prompt throughout that month. I never really looked at this, but at the beginning of the month while we're doing my reading journal, I looked at this and I see within the month if I read any of those that kind of go with these, but we only have one left to check off, so I think this is a perfect one to do. And honestly, I'm really excited about this one because it's chosen by the cover. So I just went through my entire physical TBR and I picked out all the books that I really like their covers, and we have quite a few here. So I'm gonna go through every single one of these, and then I guess it's just gonna depend what I'm in the mood for. So Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I'm obsessed with this cover. I don't know what it is. I think it's like the artwork of it and just the blue color of the writing on it. Daughter of the Burning City. This is by Amanda Foodie. I think this is almost kind of like Carnival. I know it's like a traveling carnival of some sort, but I just think the cover is really pretty because you have the carnival down here. I don't know, the purple is pretty. I like the writing. Then we have Humor Me by Kat Shook. I really like this cover. I don't know what it is, the artwork being like the whole cover and like the colors of it and the font of this. I really like that cover. Then we have The Liar's Crown by Abigail Owen. This one I've had for a really long time, but I really like this one. It's like some of those fantasy covers are really pretty. Then we have The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. Since I got this, I really liked it. I think it's just a cozy cover. Then we have The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I said this since I bought this book and got this book that I really like this cover. It's something about that pink with the green. I really like that. And then we have a recent purchase that I got is Throne of the Secrets by Carrie Maniscalco. You cannot tell me that this cover is not stunning. Like one of the most stunning covers ever. This blue is perfect with the silver and everything. I'm obsessed with it. So those are all the books on my physical TBR that I really like the cover of. Now it's just, which one am I gonna choose? Hello besties, so like you saw, I have chosen Throne of Secrets to be our next read. Come on, this cover is absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed with the colors, the design, the map on the inside is absolutely beautiful, and I started this last night. And this series is very special to me because the first book in it, Throne of the Fallen, I have a little quote in the beginning. My name is in here with my quote, so it's very special, very close to my heart because that is just so incredible and a huge accomplishment of mine. Like I just think I'm just like in awe every time I see it. So last night I decided to start this. I got like one chapter in and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to read the actual summary of this because I don't really know like what we're getting with this Prince of Sin. And I turned it over to the back and my name is on this one too. And I actually like started like tearing up. I was like, I thought it was only the first one, but it's also on this one. And I actually started freaking out last night. I texted Chris and I was like, speechless actually. So that was like so insane. I was only told that it was going to be part of Throne of the Fallen, like the paperback edition that came out. I didn't know it was going to be on this one, the new one, and I just actually am in so much like awe. So I want to sit here and thank you guys because this would not have been possible without you guys watching my videos and talking with me about books and coming back here weekly. Like I can't thank you guys enough. Like, this is just so insane to see. So if you don't know anything about the series, it actually starts with Kingdom of the Wicked. That's a YA fantasy trilogy. This is where you meet Prince Wrath, whose brothers we're following in this series. So you don't need to read Kingdom of the Wicked to start Throne of the Fallen and Throne of Secrets, but Throne of the Fallen will ruin the ending of the trilogy. So if you don't want to have that ruined for you, I would recommend reading the original trilogy, which I will say the third book in the trilogy is like one of my favorites and actually made me go down like a romantasy spiral. Like, it's the reason I started getting into romantasy, and Wrath is just like, he's up there. I really enjoyed that trilogy, but you don't need to read it to continue it, but it does help learn about the world and the characters and stuff. So then we go into Throne of the Fallen, which is the first book in this series. It's an adult romantasy series, so this one is about Prince Envy. It's kind of like a game. If you liked Phantasma, I think you'd really enjoy Throne of the Fallen, but like I said, it's an adult romantasy, and this series is going to follow Wrath's brother. So it's all like the 7 princes of hell. You have Wrath from the original trilogy, we have Envy, and now we're following Gluttony, and I'm hoping she's going to do a book for every single brother, which I'm just assuming she's going to, and I can't wait to get some of the other brothers because I've been waiting for 2 specifically that I'm hoping we're gonna get next. But nonetheless, this is about Gluttony. The basic idea of the magic system with these princes of hell is they each have their house of sin. So when the people of their court indulge in the sin, so when the people in his court are gluttonous and are doing things within that sin, it actually kind of powers the house and powers the court. So he has to make sure everyone is continuing to do that, which helps his court stay afloat basically. Like, everyone needs to be continuing to indulge in the sins, but something happened where each court is now kind of at risk of losing it. So Envy had his own problem. He had to go through a whole different game. Now we're in Gluttony, and he has a problem with actually a pact he made with like some dragons, some like ice dragons, and that's where like his problem is, but he's trying to keep it a secret from everyone else and trying to not get it out into the world so he doesn't cause any like uproar or anything with his court or the people. So he's keeping that under wraps. We just found out about that 20-something% of the way through. I'm on chapter 9, about to be 100 pages into this book. And then we also met our female main character. It's a dual point of view, and her name is Adriana. So she actually works for a gossip column. She's a journalist, and her main rival is Prince Gluttony because she writes her gossip columns about him. She tries to go around the court and to different people to get kind of like tea basically on him, and she writes about that, and he does not like that. He's trying to shut it down because she's spreading false information but also rumors, and one of them being about the dragons and the stuff going on that he's trying to keep secret. So he's trying to keep her quiet with that. We haven't really gotten much of them together in the same like scenes or anything. We've gotten just their point of views and what they're going through right now. Very different things, but I'm interested to see like how they intertwine and how they interconnect and like where the romantasy comes in here. I really love this whole world. I think it's so interesting. If you like darker romances, I think you would really enjoy this, and if you like romantasies, I think you'd really enjoy it. So I'm excited to see Gluttony's story, where he's gonna land on my list of like my favorite of the princes and my favorite of the story so far. I don't know if I'll be able to say too much because again, this is like going more into a series. It's the second in a series, but if I'm not mistaken, I think you can read them as interconnected standalones. Like, if you wanted to read the story before Envy's, you could do that, but obviously it'll ruin Envy's ending of his book, kind of just like any interconnected standalone. So I don't know, very interesting. It's a huge world. I'm really excited about this, so I will let you guys know as I continue reading how it goes. Hello guys, I am way over halfway through the book now. I'm on page 326. I actually read a bit last night and this morning. I had a few things I had to do, so I started listening to the audiobook. It's on Spotify, and I'm really enjoying the audiobook. We have 2 voice narrations for Adriana and also for Gluttony, and I'm really enjoying them. I love audiobooks when it kind of brings books to life through their voicing and their voice acting, because sometimes I say this when I'm reading, I can't really picture the personalities very well. So with this, it's hard for me to like kind of picture the way they're saying things, and I feel like this is definitely helping that. But so far, I feel like up until 50%, like that first half of the book was very slow. Kind of like the pacing and the timeline of events, it took a while to get from like one scene to like the next. There was a lot of description, a lot of like repeating the same things. It was very slow pacing, very repetitive, and it was taking me a while to kind of get into it and get invested into it. But then I feel like the plot definitely picked up like halfway through the book. We kind of got into a point where it's feeling like a Cinderella retelling, which in the beginning of the book, like before it even starts, there's this little quote and it says, if Cinderella considered her prince more wicked than charming at first and wanted to unravel his darkest secrets and ruin him, this would be their twisted fairy tale. And I read that, I was like, okay, that's like an interesting little quote to put in the beginning. But then as the story went on and more things were happening, I was like, this is actually giving a Cinderella retelling in very subtle ways. Like she has kind of like an evil stepmother, she has her stepsister, and her stepmother is trying to have her daughter kind of courted, and Adriana got this like key that's very, very exclusive to this place called Seven Sins, and it's kind of like a place where people from every single realm can go to it and you can indulge in all different sins, but it's very exclusive. When you walk in, you're kind of like magicked and you have this like thing that goes over you that kind of just secures your identity, kind of like in Cinderella when she goes to the ball and she wears her mask and the prince doesn't know who she is. So there's like those parallels to it, and there's also a part of it where Prince Gluttony, he's now hosting a thing where he can court people from different realms. So it's like different parallels, like I said, to Cinderella, and it's very interesting. I love a little bit of a retelling, so that's happening, and that definitely picked up once we hit halfway. And I felt like it was more of a separate story the first half. I felt like we were following Adriana and following Gluttony in like two separate stories, and they weren't really like interacting in any way. We were just following along what's going on in their lives and like their issues individually. But I feel like once we got to the halfway point and where I'm at right now, it's definitely picked up between the two of them and the plot and everything. I still think it's a little bit slow of a pacing, like I said, getting from scene to scene, but where the plot's going, I'm really interested, I'm really entertained. I really like Gluttony. I don't know if he'll be my favorite of the brothers, but he has his like arrogance and obviously cruelty and the morally grayness to him, as all of his brothers do. They're the princes of the sins and stuff, but he also has this like caring side and like the softer side that I like didn't expect at all. So I'm liking our two characters. Again, Gluttony is like not how I expected he was gonna be like at all. He definitely has the flirtation to him that all of his brothers do. And also in this one, we're getting a lot of the brothers, specifically a lot of envy, which I really like because that was the last book that we read, and a lot of lust, which is like, is lust gonna be the next one? I'm like, fingers crossed Pride is next, because his story is the most interesting to me. It's been the most interesting that I wanted to get when we finished the third book in Kingdom of the Wicked. I was like, I need to know his story, because his lore and like getting the side information of what's going on in his past and what he's trying to do is just so interesting, and like I need his story. But anyway, we're definitely getting a lot of the brothers, less of Sloth, less of, what's the other one, I forget, but I really am interested in also Sloth's story. I'm hoping he gets a book, because his castle and like where he lives is like a huge library. Like he's just reading his all the information and stuff. So I like getting the little lore of every single prince, but then as we've been seeing Envy, obviously the past book, and then Gluttony now, seeing in like their point of view what they're about, more of the personality and how they like kind of take care of their court and their realms. It's very interesting. I think I have about like 175-ish pages left, so I'm gonna continue listening to it. I'm really enjoying the audiobook, like I said, and then probably continue reading. I'll probably do both, and we'll see how it goes. It's definitely picking up in like all the departments that I wanted to pick up, but again, the pacing is just a little bit slow for me. I feel like the first 150 pages could have been cut and we could have learned all that information really quickly, but I feel like it dragged on a bit. So either way, I'm enjoying it. I'm really, again, liking the audio, so I'm gonna go continue listening to this and I'll give more updates as I go further in. But so far, it's going pretty well.
Also has a me. You to play nicely, Adrian. I motioned to the little space to separate.
Hello guys, I just finished listening to the rest of Throne of Secrets. I ended up listening to the whole rest of the book, and if you're wondering why I'm wearing a jacket, it is freezing outside. I just walked Mochi and I was listening to the rest of it while I was outside, and I was like shivering. It's so cold. I'm really upset because this one did not hit the way that I thought it was going to, and the way that the other ones have for me. I think the romance just was a whole disconnect for me, which is so sad. I think we spent so much time focusing on other things, and then when like the more enemies and the banter and the tension came, it like got cut off really quick, and we went from enemies to lovers like in 2 seconds, and it lost it for me because we were enemies for so long. Like this is a slow burn book, slow burn plot, and we're just like being dragged along. So when the parts were coming in and like the romance was hyping up a little bit, like I was eating it up, but then it kind of like lost it like so quickly. So the ending just wrapped up like so quick. We spent so much time and a huge chunk of the book in the beginning building up the plot and the secrets and the problems and the scandals and the characters, that it was like all finished up really quick by the end of it. So that was a bit upsetting, but I will say I just love this world so much. Like I do really love all the characters. I love seeing all the other princes in here and all the other characters we grow to love from the other books as well. Like you get a lot of that in here, all the interconnectedness that you get from this type of series. Like I just love seeing all the other characters all in here. I just think the plot of this one and what was happening didn't really hold my interest the whole time, which is really upsetting, but that's not to take away from the writing. It's so atmospheric. Like being in this world, like you can just like feel like you're there, especially with the audiobook. I actually loved the the audiobook a lot because the way that she paints the picture of like where you're at and like what they're wearing and the gowns and the setting and everything like that. I just love the way that she writes the series and the way that she has created such a world. Like I really do enjoy that. But yeah, I don't think this one's gonna be my favorite. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it, but right now how I'm feeling after finishing it, I'd probably give it like a 3.5, 3.75 maybe, because I did enjoy a lot of like the bigger parts of it. Again, it just took so long to get to those specific scenes and I didn't love the romance. Like it's definitely not my favorite out of the whole series so far. I'm really excited for the next one. I can't wait for her to announce who the next one's gonna be about. Like I'm on the edge of my seat, and if it's Pride, I'm so excited. But I have a weird feeling it's gonna be Lust because we got a lot of him in this book along with Envy, but like we already have Envy's book, so obviously I think it's gonna be Lust. But I hope she's not saving Pride for last because I really want his story like so bad. But we did get some of like him in this book and like what's going on behind the scenes, but we've been getting that since the other one and I'm just like I'm so intrigued, but we'll see. On to our last prompt for the video. I think I'm gonna do the A through Z challenge. I talked about this in my recent like doing book stuff in November, and I have a few letters left that I have not completed. So the letters that I have left over: K, M, Q, V, and X. Quite a few letters. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to complete all of this, but it is one of my goals to complete it, and that's why we are doing this video. So I'm gonna go through my entire physical TBR and also my Kindle TBR and see if I can come up with some books that are involving these letters. So give me 1 second. So the books on my physical TBR that have these letters in them are right here. The only thing is these all take up 2 out of 5 of the letters, but then I have one of the other ones on my Kindle. So we have, I feel like I'm being really confusing. Anyway, these are all K and M, and then I have a Q on my Kindle. So I don't have any books with the titles that start with V or X. So that one might be a little bit of a struggle, but Meet Cute, Mine Would Be You, Meet Me in Paradise, King of Wrath, Midnight Kisses, Culty, and then Killers of a Certain Age. And then downloaded on my Kindle for a while, I actually have Quicksilver, but I don't think I want to do that one because I just read a pretty big fantasy book and I don't know if I want to get into another one again. I don't really want to start series right now, so I think if I'm gonna narrow these down, I'm probably gonna be between these ones, and this one is I think a mystery, but like a comedic mystery, because there's 4 women that work for an elite network of assassins, but they're sent on an all expenses paid vacation to mark their retirement. They're targeted by one of their own. So I think this one's gonna be a bit comedic, but also it is a mystery slash thriller. I don't really know, but I've had this one for a while, so I feel like that would be nice to like check it off of my physical TBR. These 2 are romances. So Midnight Kisses, I believe, is a football romance. I don't know if this is part of like any type of series, but I've had this one on my TBR for quite a bit too. Mine Would Be You. I'm pretty sure this is a reverse Grumpy Sunshine, like a black cat golden retriever, and the guy's the golden retriever, and that's one of my favorite tropes. There's something about the sunshine being the male main character that does it for me, so this one's kind of high up there. I haven't heard too much about this. I'm pretty sure I bought this because of Larry, so I don't know. I think maybe I'm between these 2. Just like the other time, I'm gonna decide which one I want to read. I have no idea if I'm in a mystery or a romance mood now. I'm gonna be really happy with either one though, because these have both been on my TBR for over a year, maybe more now, and that'll be really nice to get them off of them and also just to try out these books because I obviously have not been reaching for them. Hello, I started Mine Would Be You earlier this morning and I only am like 40 pages in. I downloaded it onto my Kindle, so I've been reading it on there, but every time I pick it up, I just like don't want to read it. Like I get distracted very quickly, and I think that's a sign that I'm just not enjoying it. Maybe I'm not in the mood for it, so I think I'm gonna put this one down. I can't tell if I'm just not connecting with the writing style of it or just, again, I'm not in the mood for it, so we're putting this one down before I force myself to read it and then I give it a lower rating just because it's not what I want right now. I think I'm gonna pick up Meet Cute by Helena Hunting. I've had this on my physical TBR for way too long. The summary of this one's very interesting. It says that she ends up sprawled all over Daxton, the former actor she totally crushed on as a teenager, and then she became a mortifying fangirl in 5 seconds flat, which may or may not have included professing her undying love, but then he didn't run away and they became friends. But it says she never saw his betrayal coming and now Dax needs her help. That sounds very interesting. Like, imagine running into your childhood crush actor. Like, imagine running into Zac Efron saying, oh my god, I love you so much, and then you become best friends. Listen, that's crazy. So I think I'm gonna start this one, give this one a shot, because I am in a romance mood. I just don't know. I wasn't really connecting with the last one. So let's try this one. I'm gonna go start it. I'll come back with some updates. And this one, again, has been on my physical TBR for such a long time. And I've never had the urge to pick it up until now. So again, I'm taking all this as a sign. We're gonna read this one. Already something has happened that is just so shocking and like I feel like really abrupt and not what I expected. And obviously you get on the back that he needs her help, and it says as guardian to his 13-year-old sister, like he just needs a lot of help, and I just didn't know we were gonna get that reason why he is becoming the guardian. Like, it just happened really fast and sudden and over in a few pages, and I just didn't expect that. But I'm already 50 pages in, so it's going really fast. The pacing is so fast paced, and I think I needed kind of a story like this, just like when I read Happily Never After. It's like a fast paced kind of like palate cleanser type of romance. I've been in the mood for those. So far so good. I've already gotten way further in than the previous book I tried to read. I only got 30 pages into that book, and I started reading that way earlier this morning. So the plot of it, not that it's confusing me, but I feel like it's not really meshing well. We already had the prologue of when they met and had their like meet cute or whatever, and then it fast forward years later when they're like out of law school, because they met in law school, and now they're both lawyers, they're both going through things. So it's a very interesting timeline of events to get to where we are right now, but so far it's good. It is now, actually I don't think I talked yesterday, so it's been 2 days. I'm about to finish this. I have about 50-ish pages left, but I haven't said much because I'm just not really enjoying it. The theme of this book is a lot heavier than I thought. I just did not expect that, just seeing the cover, just like maybe judging the book by its cover, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. But if you're ever gonna read this, I would look up trigger warnings. It's heavily talking about grief and the loss of parents, so that's kind of like the central point of this story, because again, Dax, the male main character, is trying to take over custody of his sister, and our female main character, Kaylin, is trying to help. She's like the lawyer on the case. So that's like the big chunk of the book. I think the romance is a bit awkward, a bit weird. I actually highlighted a part I wanted to say that made me cringe so bad I almost DNF'd it after this part. I got it on Libby too because I wanted to read it on my Kindle in bed last night, and I got like 60-something% of the way through last night, and I almost DNF'd it then. But the one thing holding me is the younger sister. I just need to see how this all comes together for Emmy, but the part that I highlighted to say cringed me out so hard. She asked Dax if he was okay, and he said, I would have liked some naked cuddle time. I think it stems from me hating the word cuddle. Like, I just do not like that word. It gives me like the shakes. Like, I just do. The word cuddle for me is the same word as like moist for other people. I don't know what it is about it. And he said, I would have liked some naked cuddle time. I was like, close the book, we're done. I didn't like that. It gave me the ick, it cringed me out. And the romance already, I just did not enjoy it. It feels very robotic when they're talking to each other, and just like the story in general doesn't feel natural, doesn't flow very naturally. So I just have not really been enjoying it. But the only good thing is when I am picking up the book, like I speed through it. The pacing is so fast and the writing style makes it go really fast as well. So that's a plus. Like, I do want to see it to the end, and it goes fast enough that like I'll get there pretty soon. I'm gonna go read the last 50 pages and I want to see how it all ends up. There's something that's happening right now with the younger sister Emmy, and I think I already know what the issue is, so we'll see if I'm right, but I'll let you know an official rating and thoughts. I finished. I honestly have no idea what I'm gonna rate this. The things I liked about this, again, were the pacing, Dax's little sister, And that's honestly kind of it. I didn't really like our main two characters. Again, they just felt so robotic. Like they didn't feel like they had emotions that they were trying to portray, just didn't come across like real. It just felt very like surface level what they were like saying to each other. And also just like the case that she was on took up majority of the story. And I did enjoy, again, following along to see what was going to happen with Emmy. But it was really just her as their lawyer kind of like crossing and blurring the lines between being the lawyer for Emmy and being involved with her brother. So I don't know. It's not what I expected. This cover and the summary of this book is just not what I expected, because the meet cute happens in the first 3 pages and then never again does it come up again until the epilogue. So I think the cover is just a bit deceiving. I don't think it's very rom-com-y as the cover gives or the summary gives, but it was okay. I think I would rate this 2.5. I may push it up to 3 just because I really enjoyed Emmy as a character. Just youngest daughter as being a 13-year-old going through such a crazy life altering experience. So probably between a 2.5 and a 3, maybe a 2.75. I didn't really enjoy it, but again, it was really fast paced. I'm glad to have read it and gotten it off my physical TBR because again, it's been on there for so long. That is the end of today's reading vlog. That was so fun. I hope during the month of December, before the year ends, I can also check off a few more prompts and a few more things on my reading journal that I put, especially the 24 to read in 2024. But I said this before in those reading journal videos, as the time has gone on throughout this year, I haven't thought about some of the books I put last December when I made it, so we'll see eventually how much I can check off. But this was really fun. I love when other things pick the books that I read, and I thought this could be fun to round out the year since we've been doing this reading journal for now 12 months. The whole entire year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know any prompts you guys have on your reading journals because I'm gonna start making my new one soon, and I would love to put some new prompts and new pages and spreads and stuff. So let me know if you're doing a reading journal. Let me know if you've read any of the books in this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow for our next Bookmas video. Bye!